Imagine standing at the starting line of a race, your heart pounding, muscles tense, adrenaline surging through your veins. You've trained for this, sacrificed for this, and now, in this moment, nothing else matters but the pursuit of victory. That hunger, that drive, that relentless pursuit of greatness, that is the essence of Nike. But before it became a global empire, before its iconic swoosh symbolized triumph, and before, "just do it," became a mantra for athletes and dreamers alike, Nike was just an idea, a risky, uncertain, and seemingly impossible idea. What if I told you that the most recognizable sports brand in the world started with a young man selling sneakers out of the trunk of his car? That it was built not with millions of dollars in investment, but with sheer determination, obsession, and an unwavering belief in a vision? This isn't just a story about shoes. It's about risk. It's about failure. It's about getting knocked down and standing back up, over and over again. It's about knowing deep in your gut that you were meant for more and refusing to accept anything less. This is the story of Phil Knight. A man who turned a $50 investment into a multi-billion-dollar empire. A man who redefined not just sportswear, but culture itself. And as we dive into this journey, ask yourself, what's stopping you from doing the same? Lace up. Let's run through the incredible journey of Nike. Rocket. Before we dive in, take a second to check if you're subscribed. If you love inspiring business stories, learning about game-changing entrepreneurs, and discovering how empires are built from scratch, this is the place for you. By subscribing, you'll always stay ahead of the game with powerful insights and success strategies. Now, let's get into the story. Fire. Imagine standing at the starting line of a race, heart pounding, muscles tense, eyes locked on the finish. That moment of anticipation, the sheer drive to push forward, to win, that is the essence of Nike. But before it became a billion-dollar empire, before its iconic swoosh symbolized victory, and long before, "just do it," inspired millions, Nike was nothing more than a wild idea in the mind of a young man searching for purpose. What if I told you that the world's most famous sports brand began with a college student scribbling notes for a school project? What if I told you that Nike's first shoes weren't sold in fancy stores but out of the trunk of a car at high school track meets? This is not just a story of sneakers, it's a story of risk, obsession, betrayal, and relentless ambition. Nike didn't start as a global powerhouse, it was built from the ground up, piece by piece, by a man who refused to give up, even when the odds were stacked against him. This is the journey of Phil Knight, a man who turned a $50 investment into an empire that redefined sports, fashion, and business forever. Let's lace up and take a run through the incredible journey of Nike. The story begins with a man named Phil Knight, a college graduate in the late 1950s who had no clear direction in life. Despite his love for running, he had no intention of turning it into a business. He attended the University of Oregon, where he met Bill Bowerman, a legendary track and field coach obsessed with creating better running shoes. Bowerman constantly experimented with shoe designs to improve his athletes' performance, but he never had the right partner to take his innovations beyond the university track. Knight, on the other hand, was searching for a purpose. After graduating with a degree in journalism, he wandered aimlessly through life, even serving a short stint in the army. It wasn't until he enrolled in Stanford's business school that he stumbled upon a life-changing idea: what if Japanese running shoes could compete with German brands like Adidas and Puma? At the time, the German brands were the dominant players in the athletic shoe market, and their stronghold seemed unshakable. However, Japan had been making strides in manufacturing, producing high-quality products at lower costs. Knight saw an opportunity and became fixated on the idea that importing Japanese shoes could disrupt the market in the same way that Japanese cameras had taken over the industry previously dominated by German manufacturers. Knight wasn't just thinking about a simple import business, he envisioned something far greater. He imagined a company that could redefine athletic footwear, improve performance for athletes, and create a brand that resonated with people beyond the track and field. The birth of an idea. Have you ever felt like you were sitting on a great idea, but fear, doubt, or the opinions of others held you back. Maybe you've questioned whether your dreams were worth pursuing because no one around you seemed to believe in them. Phil Knight was in that exact position. But instead of letting doubt win, he took action. This section will show you how he transformed a simple school project into a revolutionary business idea, and how you can do the same. While working on a class project, Knight realized that Japanese manufacturers were producing high-quality cameras that were disrupting the market previously dominated by German brands. He thought, why couldn't the same happen with running shoes? Excited about this vision, he wrote a paper outlining a potential business that would import Japanese running shoes to the US and sell them at a competitive price. Though his classmates weren't particularly impressed, Knight couldn't shake the feeling that he was onto something big. The idea didn't just stay on paper. Knight believed in it so much that he decided to go to Japan himself and see if he could make it happen. He wasn't just trying to build a business, he was trying to prove to himself that he could create something meaningful in his life. Before heading to Japan, Knight traveled extensively, visiting key markets in Europe and Asia. He studied the global footwear industry, gaining insights into what made certain brands successful. His exposure to different cultures and business strategies gave him confidence that he could bring something unique to the US market. Instead of waiting around, Phil Knight decided to create his own opportunity. In 1962, he borrowed money from his father and set off on a journey around the world, with one key stop, Japan. He arrived in Kobe and visited Onitsuka Tiger, a shoe manufacturer producing a lightweight and durable running shoe called the Tiger. Nervous but determined, Knight managed to secure a meeting with the executives. When asked who he represented, he blurted out a name on the spot, Blue Ribbon Sports, even though no such company existed yet. He pitched his idea of distributing Tiger shoes in the US, and to his surprise, Onitsuka agreed to ship some samples for him to sell. This meeting was a pivotal moment. Knight had no established business, no real financial backing, and no experience in the footwear industry. Yet, his confidence and knowledge of the American market convinced the Japanese executives that he was the right partner. This first deal laid the foundation for what would eventually become Nike. Convincing Onitsuka Tiger was no easy feat. Japanese executives were initially skeptical of an unproven businessman. However, Knight's in-depth research on the American market, coupled with his enthusiasm, played a crucial role in sealing the deal. Early struggles in selling shoes from a car trunk. Imagine putting everything on the line, your time, money, and energy, only to face rejection over and over again. Maybe you felt this in your own journey, whether in business, fitness, or personal growth. Phil Knight didn't start with an office or investors, he sold shoes from the trunk of his car, facing constant setbacks. But he pushed through. If you've ever faced obstacles that made you question whether to keep going, this part of the story is for you. Knight returned to the US thrilled, but he had no office, no storefront, and no team, just a bunch of running shoes and a dream. He went straight to Bowerman, hoping to make a sale, but instead, Bowerman offered to become his business partner. Together, they each invested $500 into Blue Ribbon Sports, and Knight began selling shoes out of the trunk of his car at track meets. The business grew slowly but steadily. By 1965, they had their first full-time employee, Jeff Johnson, who would later come up with the name that changed everything, Nike. Jeff Johnson was a marketing genius in his own right. He didn't just sell shoes, he built relationships with customers, writing personalized letters to runners, giving them advice on their training, and making them feel like part of a movement. This grassroots marketing approach built a loyal customer base that helped Blue Ribbon Sports gain traction. Expanding distribution networks. As demand grew, Knight realized he needed a better distribution system. He started forging relationships with retailers, ensuring Blue Ribbon Sports could reach more athletes across the country. The birth of Nike. There comes a point when you have to stop depending on others and start building your own legacy. Have you ever felt betrayed by someone you trusted? Maybe you counted on a deal, a partnership, or a job, only to have it slip through your fingers. When Onitsuka Tiger turned its back on him, Knight had two choices: give up or create something even bigger. What he did next turned a potential failure into one of the greatest business moves of all time. By the late 1960s, Blue Ribbon Sports was doing well, but things took a turn when Onitsuka Tiger began secretly searching for other U.S. distributors, betraying their exclusive deal with Knight's company. Instead of folding under pressure, Knight made a bold move. He decided to launch his own brand. The team brainstormed names for the new brand. Knight wanted to call it Dimension 6, but Jeff Johnson suggested Nike, inspired by the Greek goddess of victory. Though Knight wasn't convinced at first, they had to act fast, and Nike was born. At the same time, they needed a logo. A young graphic design student, Carolyn Davidson, was hired to create a symbol for the brand. For just $35, she designed the now famous swoosh, which would become one of the most recognized logos in the world. Nike wasn't just another brand, it was a revolution in athletic footwear. It represented innovation, speed, and performance, setting the stage for a global phenomenon. Designing the first Nike shoe. The first Nike-branded shoes were designed with innovation in mind. Bowerman's waffle sole concept, inspired by his wife's waffle iron, became a signature feature, offering superior traction and performance. Expansion and revolutionizing the industry. Success isn't just about talent, it's about timing, adaptability, and marketing. Have you ever wondered why some brands explode while others disappear? Nike's rise wasn't just about making great shoes, it was about knowing how to tell a story, capture attention, and create a movement. If you want to know what separates good businesses from legendary ones, this section is for you. Nike's breakthrough moment came with Bowerman's waffle sole design, which provided better traction and revolutionized running shoes. This innovation set Nike apart from competitors. Nike was now ready to take on the giants, but to do so, it needed more than great shoes, it needed brilliant marketing. Final thoughts and your next step. You've just witnessed the journey of Nike, from a struggling startup selling shoes out of a car trunk to becoming the world's most iconic sports brand. But here's the real question: what's stopping you from creating your own success story? Maybe you felt stuck, doubted yourself, or feared failure. Maybe you've had an idea but lacked the confidence to take the first step. But if Nike's story teaches us anything, it's that the difference between success and failure is action. The biggest companies, the greatest athletes, and the most successful people in the world all have one thing in common: they took the leap. So, what's your next move? Will you let fear hold you back, or will you chase your vision with the same relentless determination as Phil Knight? Fire! If you want more inspiring stories of businesses that defied the odds and changed the world, make sure you're subscribed. We have even more powerful success stories coming your way. See you in the next video. Remember, success isn't just about talent, it's about timing, adaptability, and marketing. Have you ever wondered why some brands explode while others disappear? Nike's rise wasn't just about making great shoes, it was about knowing how to tell a story, capture attention, and create a movement. If you want to know what separates good businesses from legendary ones, this section is for you. Nike's breakthrough moment came with Bowerman's waffle sole design, which provided better traction and revolutionized running shoes. This innovation set Nike apart from competitors. Nike was now ready to take on the giants, but to do so, it needed more than great shoes, it needed brilliant marketing. This is Have a Full and Prosperous Life signing off right now. See you in the next one.